Howdy, friends. Steve DePaul here for the Rose Realty team. Spring is in the air. The spring began a couple days ago. I'm taping this on Thursday, so today is the opening day of the baseball season. Sorry to say, I'm not so sure that the Rangers are going to do any better this year than, let's say, the Cowboys did in the NFL. Sorry about that. Anyway, hey, today's topic for our North Texas real estate vlog is preparing for your home inspection. This kind of goes both ways a little bit, right? It's how to prepare for kind of mentally, if you will, if you're the buyer and you order the inspection, and how to prepare your home if you're the seller and your home is being inspected. So let's kind of get into it. First, set expectations. So we work with the three top professional home inspectors in the Metroplex. Those are the people we recommend, right? They're professional. They bring their own masks, booties, and gloves. Okay, but however, stuff happens, right? So the guy's climbing up in the attic to check the HVAC system, and he rips a glove or his booty or something like that. Have some extra on hand because you don't want you don't want the person to have to leave and come back and all of that. Time, day and time. So the buyer is going to set the appointment, and you as the seller, they're gonna let you know, hey, he's coming at Tuesday at 2 o'clock. Duration. Now, most home inspections are going to take somewhere between, I'm going to say 2 and 5 hours, depending on the size of the house and the complexity and the age. A little bit older house, a little bit larger house is going to take longer than a newer house, on the smaller side. Okay, so be prepared for that. If you're the if you're the seller, you don't have to be there for the inspection. I mean, if it was me, I wouldn't even want to be there if I was a seller. If I'm the buyer, you kind of show up the last half hour to 45 minutes to maybe ask a few questions and to get what we call the readout, where the inspector is going to go through everything that he's looked at, everything that he's inspected, and give you sort of a readout. Hey, this house is in great shape, or here's a couple things that I found out. Okay, so the last half hour, 45 minutes. If you're the seller, move stuff and make space. Here's the deal. The inspector is not going to move boxes, for example, not going to move boxes out of the spare tub in your guest room in order to fill it up with water and to see if the drains hold and those kinds of things, right? Now, if the rest of the house is in awesome sterling shape, then chances are the fact that he can't test the guest room tub is not going to be that big a deal. But if he's finding leaks and cracks and things that don't work and things that drip and all of that, what's going to happen is he's going to say, I couldn't check the spare room, the guest bathroom tub. And then me as the buyer's agent, I'm going to say, I want those boxes out of there. I want that tested for my client. Okay. And then chances are that's going to extend the option period. It's going to give the buyer extra time to get out of the option, which as the seller, you don't want to have that happen. Okay. So make it as easy as possible for the inspector to get the stuff like tubs and electrical panels and those kinds of things, right? Have the HVAC system service. Look, as the buyer's agent, right, I'm going to request that the HVAC system be serviced before my buyer takes possession of the house. It also only makes sense to have the HVAC system serviced just to make sure that there's nothing wrong with it. Your HVAC company is going to come in, they're going to change filters, they're going to check everything out to make sure everything's working properly. Might as well get it done beforehand so right? So you know that there's nothing wrong with it. Bam, we shouldn't have a problem with that. Check light bulbs. This may seem like kind of a silly thing to check the light bulbs to make sure they're all working. But what the inspector is going to do is he's going to look at the light bulb in the ceiling and he's going to say, I noticed two light bulbs out in this particular room. Well, the question then is it the bulb itself was blown out, or is there a wiring problem? Okay. If it's a wiring if I'm the buyer's agent, which I often am, I'm going to say, I want that tested, I want that inspected by a qualified electrician. If it's just a bulb that's burned out, again, that's going to extend the option period. It's going to give my buyer then a longer period of time to opt out of the contract with little to no penalty, just because a bulb is burned out. So make sure that all the bulbs in the house, especially the ones, the recessed lighting, those kinds of things, are working properly and not blown out. And then finally, replace missing caulk. So first of all, caulk, exterior caulk in the North Texas area takes a beating, right? We got in the winter, we've got this cold weather like we just had, although this was an anomaly, okay, this past winter. But we also got the beating sun in the summer, 100-degree weather and that kind of stuff. If you replace caulk around exterior windows, for example, it's going to seal it up and it's going to look pristine. At the same time, if the caulk is peeling up and there's gaps and that kind of stuff, the inspector is going to note it. And me as the buyer's agent, I'm going to say, number one, I want that repaired. And number two, it's going to call into question that whether there's water seepage behind the caulk, behind the brick or the stucco or the exterior wall. And then we're talking about now wood rot or black mold and that kind of stuff. So if you replace the peeling or missing caulk, it's going to make it look good. It's going to make it look pristine, and it's going to make it look like we don't have any problems with the house. So those are 4.5 inspection tips for the home seller and the home buyer when you come right down to it. Next week, we're going to talk about why for sale by owners fail. This is a fascinating topic for me. We've been talking to for sale by owners for years now, and nothing really ever changes. And for sale by owners fail more times than they succeed. So next week, why FSBOs fail. This is Steve DePoe for the Rose Realty team, wishing you a happy Easter. I'm going to bounce.